Malcontent Reynolds back on the mic with Professor Wrex. We are running a bit late in the bubble today. This bout was supposed to start at 1. It's going to start at 1:15. We want to be fair and give everybody their track time. This bout starting up at 1:15 in 4 minutes. We'll see in Lansing's Dixens versus Les Québecoises. And Lansing Dixens will be in white. Les Québecoises will be in black. Would you like to start reading us, Professor Wrex, the in Lansing Dixens? Sorry, I just put my clipboard on your mic. Do you want to read us the in Lansing Dixens roster?
Absolutely, I will. And Lansing Dixens and Lansing Dixens / Ann Arbor Derby Dimes. 1057 Huffle Punch. Sorry, 138 Pretty Bullet. Number 15 Dangerous. Number 21 Genergy. Number 36 Emma Biotic. Number 37 Ms. Hyde. Number 4 Smash Squatch. Number 42 Iazor. Is that right?
Isasaur. Can I? And do you want me to do this one? I know it.
Probably. 504 is
Loxana Troy.
Loxana Troy. If you are a Star Trek TNG fan,
over here, pick me.
Is it you?
I'm a huge TNG fan.
I also watch almost every. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I watched every episode.
My partner grew up in a cabin in the woods, and so there's so much TV from the 90s he hasn't seen.
Wow.
And so I get to introduce him to stuff like we watched Dirty Dancing together for the first time.
There's so much awesome and terrible TV from the 90s.
So the only movie he'd seen from the 90s was like Speed, because it was on LEO's Night at the Movies on TVO. So I got to watch all of TNG with him, and it was absolutely incredible. So I'm very excited to see Loxana Troy, I think it is.
Loxana Troy.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to say, but it's a great name.
It looks like they've given us permission just to call her Troy. I think I'll be calling her Counselor. It was so 80s, 90s to have a therapist on board. I love it. Anyway,
that's right.
We could talk about TNG all night, but this bout's starting in 2 minutes.
Can we talk about TNG all night?
Yeah, you tuned into the Star Trek Next Gen show with Professor X and Malcontent Reynolds.
That one episode, that first or second episode when Data was like whistling in the holodeck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
I like first season because they obviously haven't figured out what they're doing.
No, they have no idea what they're doing.
My favorite episode to hate watch
They kill people off right away.
Well, because head of security hated it there.
I know.
It was so much sexism. I can't remember her name because I'm having a brain fart.
I think we've rambled a bit too much. Maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Number 517.
I want to talk about Worf in a second.
Invasive species. I hope that's right. Number 66. Crush Thulaman.
Oh, it's like chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum. Wow, that's really good. That's really good.
Please excuse us. This is the first time we're seeing this roster.
717 Infection Vixen, or Flick, which is Infliction Vixen. There we go. Or Flick. Number 74 Warhol. Number 77 Eddie Electric. Number 8 Rogue One.
What is up with this team with the Star Wars references and the TNG references?
I know, this team is the best. Number 93, Ricky Tink.
Rinky Tink.
I did see this roster before, and I was hoping that Rinky Tink, I thought it was Ricky Tink, and I was hoping that it was a...
Ricky Tikki Tavi?
No, from Rick and Morty. Has anyone seen Rick and Morty at home? If you haven't, check out Rick and Morty. It's the greatest show ever.
Haven't seen Rick and Morty. And on the bench for in Lansing is PH Demon and Bert Hurt. Let's run through Les Québecoises real quick before they take to the track. Les Québecoises is from Roller Derby Sherbrooke, Roller Derby Trois-Rivières, and Roller Derby Lévis. They're the only Quebec team here, so that's why they're called Les Québecoises. Bruce Wheellease 0, Little Witch 03, Scary Price 04, Mimsane in the Brain 06, Valkyrie 28, La Planteuse 33, Trigger 357, Beelzebubs 416, Roadrunner, not the official song of Massachusetts, but they tried, 49, Gigi Crackaface 65, and Destroy 922, and John Doe 96 on the bench, Kent Simi and Per Evil.
Just an update from the roster. Andy Stroy and Bruce Wheellease are not here today.
Bruce Wheellease. It means
Bruce Wheellease.
Soft in French.
Right.
Lisse, or not soft. Lisse.
My French is just as bad as my English, so it's not going to be a good. It's not going to be a good game for me.
Mon français est si mauvaise que mon anglais, mais je parle pas quand même. My French is as bad as my English, but I speak both the same. This is when like soft floor, like shiny floor.
But just a quick correction, there is another Quebec team from Montreal. Montreal
really?
Splash Squad is here.
Oh,
they're just at 10 Reeves.
Look at that, in black, number 28, Valkyrie is the lead jammer, getting out there real fast. On turn 1 there, we've got Vixen?
Yeah, Infliction Vixen, so we can call her Flick.
Flick, 717 from Lansing.
I had the privilege of watching Le Québecoise play earlier today, and Valkyrie was just lighting up the team earlier today. They were unable to stop her. She is going to be the potential jammer of this tournament. If other teams can't figure out how to stop her from scoring, she's going to score pretty much every time she's on the track.
Worth mentioning, this is Professor Rex's 4th 20-minute game on the mic. This is my 2nd one. If we lose our words, just, tweet at us. We're both from Royal City Roller Girls. You can tweet us at Royal City Roller if we miss anything or if you want to compliment our math skills.
But it's only my 2nd beer, so I'm doing pretty good.
High fives to Professor Rex. Little Witch is struggling with 2 Lansing jammer blockers, and she gets lead jammer right on the apex.
Little Witch as well is a very accomplished jammer. I watched her in the last game. She did really well for Le Québecois. Very strong on her feet. Not quite as agile as Valkyrie, but very knowledgeable of where she is on the track and her team and the opposing jammer, which is really, really important.
Big hole on the outside. Little Witch is able to stop at the back of that pyramid, hop around a bit, and then just slide into the outside. That's 5 points for Les Québécoises, and the Dixens from Lansing have 0. What's going to happen this 3rd jam, Rex?
If Valkyrie's out there, I have a hard time believing that she isn't going to get lead jammer. She is just that good. But the Lansing Dixens have really taken it to her this jam and trying to make sure that she doesn't. But she's able to prevail regardless and get out and get lead jam before turn 1.
Your prediction is correct. I'm hearing the penalty whistle. There's a multiplayer block being called against someone, against Gigi Crackface.
Yeah, it is against Le Québecois blocker, Gigi Crackface. Le Québecois will be starting the next jam with 2 blockers on the track. It hasn't seemed to stop them in either game so far. The previous game they did play against Windsor Assault and dominated that game as well. Unfortunately, Windsor Assault was going to the box, their jammers were going to the box a little bit too much to keep in that game. Mimsane in the brain is on the track as a pivot for Le Québecois. I can't quite see the number of the other blocker. I will try and get it to you as soon as I can. Hopefully, and Lansing Dixens can take advantage of this jam as being up the blocker advantage. And it looks like they do. They can potentially get their first lead jam in this game, and they do. Genergy, 2-1. Genergy has gotten lead jam for her team.
And Little Witch follows her very closely, causing Genergy to call it off.
Yeah, that's right. And Lansing Dixens their pack was at the back of the pack. If you do that and your team has lead, it's very difficult for your jammer to try and get points because the point potential is another 10 feet in front.
Reminder, how Derby works is the humans are the points and the jammers, the one with the stars on their helmet, are the point scorers. So if all of your points are standing at the front of the pack, the opposing players are your points. So if all of them are standing at the front, you have to kind of make it through your blockers to get all those points.
That's right.
So multiplayer blocking, yeah.
Put up there. Valkyrie, number 28 for Le Québecois. I think she's on a run of 100% lead jam so far in both games, which is an incredible feat, even at a 2 fresh tournament.
Runs through that pack on the inside, getting a tiny bit of help from John Doe, and that is a 4-point jam for Valkyrie. You are right. Oh, you have so many names, Craig. You have a ref name, a coach name, a human name.
I'm so vain.
I know. I'm just going to call you everything at once.
But that was a very well-timed offensive block from Jane Doe. Offense is an important thing to learn in roller derby. Just as maybe not as important as defense. If your defense is solid, you may not need as much offense. But you definitely need some
Wow,
for sure.
Wow, 77 from Ann Lansing. Edie Electric running up the inside there, gets stopped at the last second. Little Witch gets out, but she had to work a bit harder than any other jammer from Le Québecoise has had to work yet today. She might be able to lap Edie Electric. She does. She comes to her restoring pass. Edie Electric is still in the pack. Edie Electric makes it out, a cheer from her bench. Little Witch on her scoring pass.
That's true. That's true. Le Québecois has had all of the lead jams of this game, but
no, Edie Electric was actually lead jammer. Little Witch must have done something.
Good eye. They've gotten out of the pack at least first and in scoring position first, but despite that, they're only winning by 15 points. I'm chalking that up to the fact that Ann Lansing Dixens has been able to keep their jammers on the track. The previous game, Le Québecois at this point would have had 2 or 3 power jams already, and had put up a number of points in the opposing team. So I wouldn't count Ann Lansing Dixens out of this game at all. A 15-point lead may as well be a tie score in roller derby.
Yeah, nothing. Especially in these tiny little 20-minute games, you can really come back hard. It's jam by jam in these 20-minute games. Another thing I see is Valkyrie gets lead and then she gets 1 point. That's happened two jams at least, if not 3. And it is a great strategy to chip away, to destroy the other jammer's soul, the other team's soul, by continually having them do 0-point jams. But in 2 or 3 jams, if you're just getting 1 point, yeah, that 15 points is normal.
Yeah, Le Québecois calling an official review. I'd like to have a little microphone in there to see what they were asking about.
I always assume they're talking about ponies and puppy dogs. What's your favorite kind?
That or unicorns or
kittens, pegacorns. That's a unicorn with wings.
That's
it's one of my areas of expertise. I made you laugh, cough.
I know. Well, that's because I used to smoke, but I don't anymore. So
congratulations.
It's been a long time.
That's a big deal. Yeah. How many years have you been non-smoking?
Close to 2 now, I guess.
That's a big deal. I'm surprised we haven't had a celebration in our league. Both Professor Wrex and I skate with, ref with, coach with. We do one of everything. Sometimes NSO with Royal City Roller Girls.
Valkyrie again. Wow, she just is completely tearing apart every team she's played today.
They've put Ann Lansing has put Pretty Bullet on the track. See if she can jam. This time Valkyrie gets 4 points. Casually calls it off before Ann Lansing can get anything on the board.
Yeah, and Valkyrie, at this tournament, players have only played or been on skates for 12 months. If they've had previous skating experience, they may have been on skates in other sports.
But 12 months is the maximum.
It's the maximum amount of time.
There's some people who have been on skates 4 months.
I know, and Valkyrie's skating ability and pack awareness is really high.
Where did she get it? Where did it come from?
She either taught herself or someone taught her for sure. That's generally how it happens. And
Little Witch with a huge bean dip.
Yes, the old bean dip.
Looks like Little Witch gets lead jammer while 42.
Isasaur. There we go.
Very tall jammer. Love me a tall jammer. She gets through the pack on the apex. Little Witch calls it off 4 points. Le Québecois is expanding their lead.
They have, and I know Ann Lansing Dixon still have a 0 on the board here, but 23 points is still not a huge lead.
We had a 35-point jam in the last game. It's possible. So the biggest 12 minutes, 41 seconds left in this game. The biggest thing I don't want Ann Lansing to be doing on their bench is to be getting down, to be thinking it's not possible.
Yeah, I think if Ann Lansing loses this jam, which they just did, unfortunately, to Valkyrie, they may have to think about a timeout and just calm themselves, talk to each other, relax a little bit, and just say, hey, we're still in this game. We can make this happen.
Infliction Vixen gets through before turn 1. She is the lead jammer, even though Valkyrie got out first.
I think Ann Lansing just got to put points on the board. Hopefully they keep it running here. And they do. Nice job. Nice job by Infliction Vixen.
Valkyrie went to the box while Professor Wrex and I wasn't looking. It's a power jam for Lansing Vixens. They get their first 5 points on the board. Their bench is counting down the number of seconds left in their power jam. Valkyrie returns to the track. That was a successful 10-point power jam for the Dixens.
It is, and Valkyrie's on her first pass, so the Lansing Dixens jammer has time to score more points and just did 4 points this time. Unfortunately, Valkyrie did enter the track before scoring points, so it was only 4 points instead of 5. But still in position again to put some more points on the board for her team, and calls it off quickly. Very, very smart call off from the Lansing Dixens jammer, putting up one more point for 15. That's 23-15. What did I just say before this jam happened? I'm pretty sure I said that this game is anyone's game still. Exactly,
and that totally changes the tone in the bubble. The 3 whistles go off. Somebody is, what do you know? Les Québecoise have called the team timeout. Little chat amongst themselves. 11 minutes left. The scoreboard is going to freeze for a little while, and exactly a minute actually, for this team timeout.
That's good.
8 points.
Coach,
8 points. I did the math.
8 points. That's good. That's good math. If on the bench now for Lansing Dixens, this is an important timeout because the Quebecois is essentially taking this timeout to hopefully take the wind out of Lansing Dixens' sails and get themselves righted and get their ship righted in the right direction. When you're coaching the opposing team who has just made the other team call timeout, you really need to make sure that you're taking advantage of the same timeout as well to keep your team focused and ready and let them know that you've done everything you can in this game to stay in it, and you're not out, and you can make this game happen for yourselves. Exactly. Let's take a little wider view. You are listening to the Fresh and the Furious tournament on Layer 9. You're watching it as well. If you want to know more information about the schedule, click on your video, go up to the I icon, not I as in on your face, but the letter I. And it'll take you to the Layer 9 website. You can see the entire schedule. You can see all the rosters because I get so confused about tournaments, about who's playing who and what the heck is going on. It's true. I think it updates as well as the day goes on. So as it changes, you can just check that throughout the day and find out what's going on. And eventually, after as the finals start, the bubble shuts down and we move over to the arena. I brought an outfit change for that. Wow, with a skip and a jump, Little Witch makes it through on the outside. Gains lead jammer. The Genergy attempting a star pass, but gets through on her own regardless. Just uses it as a confuser blocker tactic and is able to get through. Little Witch is coming up against a hard blocking wall, causing I'm pretty sure. Wow, and Lansing Dixens prevent Little Witch from scoring any points in that jam. That's a huge... No, they scored 2 points. They scored 2 points. I'm sorry. But that was still a very impressive blocking from the back there. To see them hold her back for a good 10 seconds. 10 seconds is a long time in a jam. I like when I get excited for no reason. I got excited, so I started talking with my Manitoba accent there, my Ottawa Valley via Manitoba. Can we go back to talk about TNG again? Oh, my favorite episode to hate watch is the Worf gets disabled one, and as a person living with disabilities where he's just like, please murder me for being disabled, yes. That one enrages me. I've hate watched it a bunch of times. Valkyrie again in lead jam. I think the only time she isn't in the front scoring points is when she's in the penalty box. Or on the bench or in the penalty box. So she is a very accomplished jammer for the Quebecois. Oh, a nice attempt at a hit from number 36 of Lansing. Not enough to keep Valkyrie. Not enough to keep Valkyrie back. She gets her usual 4 points. She hasn't done that 1 point jobby in a little while. On the flip side, my favorite episode with Worf in it is when it was like a relative or someone dies in his family, and he just, when they die, he just erupts into this like rage yell. Yeah, the battle cry funeral yell. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I was like, it gave me chills when I was a kid. Yeah. And have you met Michael Dorn? I've met Michael Dorn because I go to cons, and he is like the sweetest, most kindest human. I bet he is. Yeah. I want to meet him as well. LeVar Burton has a lot of ideas about men of color and sex on the show, and why LeVar never got to hook up. Well, why, Geordie LaForge never got to hook up. Wow. Oh, a huge hit from number 37. That was a very, very big hit. Ms. Hyde. Unfortunately, it was on Little Witch's shoulder. It did look like a clean hit to me. Little Witch may have been straddling the line, which technically speaking is still in play. I didn't have the angles on it to see if she was going in the right direction or not, but it's possible that the referees may come together. They usually do when something like this happens and ask if anyone saw anything or what the impact spectrum was.
Our wonderful sponsors from Spectrum One, the medics, are coming out to help. It's also worth mentioning our other sponsors, Mill Street Brewery, a local Toronto craft brewery committed to brewing and award-winning beers, are in the house today. I see you drinking a West Coast style IPA. How's that going down?
The IPA is really good. It's not as IPA as most IPAs, if that's a thing. I'm gonna start a thing. It's not as IPA as other IPAs I've had, but it's really, really good. If you do make your way down to the Bubble or Ted Reeve, you should try out the West Coast style IPA.
I'm going to say some beer words. I see some hops there. Is it a hoppy beer?
It is. Again, it's probably low on the IBU scale. If I'm trying to talk beer like
those
I know what I'm talking
words.
about.
Yeah,
those
me
are definitely
too.
beer
I said
words.
hoppy. Yeah.
Yeah, hops, IBU, IPA.
IPA.
Yeah,
beer.
It's quite good, but they have a wide variety. And all of them are only $5, which is really, really great.
The Professor Wrex Malcontent Reynolds show, where we talk about TNG and beer. Which is well outside of my area of interest. I've been sober 17 years.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. We can talk about favorite root beers, for sure.
What is in my interest, though, is food. And there's a few food trucks here. The Eggman, offering assortment of breakfast foods for your morning food truck experience. If you want to come down, make your way down, you can definitely get some breakfast from a food truck. I have never had breakfast from a food truck, but one of my favorite meals in the day is breakfast.
What's your favorite breakfast food?
I am a fan of the omelet because you can just kind of smash it all together and throw whatever you want into it. And
it's really hard to do it wrong, the omelet.
It is really hard. I've seen people do it wrong.
Yeah, because people are idiots.
People are definitely idiots.
Yeah.
But it's really difficult to do it wrong. And when people do it wrong, I'm always really, really impressed by them.
Yeah, like how? I have no words. One of my favorite breakfast foods is something I never make at home, and it's something when I biked across Iowa with my partner, Little Witch is Up with the help of the medics. There was a breakfast taco truck, like egg tacos. It was the best.
Yeah, it looks like Little Witch isn't injured. It may have just been like what I would like to call like a
shaken up
or like a stinger. Like it was a high impact hit that probably hurt a lot. And sometimes when you get those, you aren't quite sure if you're injured personally yet, and you need to take a second to figure yourself out.
Exactly.
Which
Speaking
is
as
fine.
a skater,
you need to do that.
Yeah,
right?
And it's when I coach fresh meat, I would say if you get a hit where you may not have a concussion, but you see white or you're confused about where you are, stay down. It's better to get the jam called off than to get back on your feet when you're not sure what your name is or where you are.
That's right, because sometimes you're not quite sure how much it actually hurts or if it's actually hurting at all. It just might be like
you're just confused.
A mental thing or a confusion thing. So
it's not a concussion, but you get hit so hard that you're confused about life and everything. So just take your time, stay down.
I'm confused about life all the time, and I'm never concussed.
And they gave you a mic.
They gave me a microphone and beer.
I'm constantly shocked that folks give me microphones.
Oh, unfortunately, I think the Lansing Dixens jammer got a forearm penalty called from Nightingale, another person from Royal City. He's trying to get her off the track. Unfortunately.
Oh man.
I think he gave her a second for an insubordination for not leaving the track early enough.
Valkyrie's the only one on the track. She's going to rack up some points now.
That's not good. If Nightingale gave a second penalty, that's an entire minute jam for Valkyrie.
There's also 2 pairs of jean shorts on the track.
I know. I wish I brought mine.
I love the jorts.
I wish I brought mine.
Jorts Appreciation Society.
If Valkyrie has a full minute jam, she can definitely put up a lot of points. That's like old school derby, a full minute power jam.
Yeah, before 2014 when the rule change happened, I think, we used to have minute-long sitting out times, which is also called penalties.
Right.
Nouns are hard.
Yeah, you take a
quiet time.
Quiet time, yeah, in the corner.
Yeah, in the corner. And so now for 3 years we played with the new rule set that has 30-second jams or 30-second penalties. It really changes the way that we play the game. You only get a minute penalty if you do 2 bad things on the track, like cutting the track and then not listening to a ref, which I think is what happened.
Right. I don't think the Lansing Dixens jammer got a second penalty. I thought I saw Nightingale signal the insubordination hand signal. but I may have been mistaken. So
I got my first in-sub a month or two ago.
I think myself as a coach, I've gotten many in-subs, but that was like years
because
and years ago
when I was
a very angry man. I was a very angry polar bear.
Oh, new name to call you, Professor Wrex, the angry polar bear. Wow, check that out, Ann Lansing. Edie Electric just slips by on the outside, another tall jammer. And the Le Québecoise jammer has not even done her first pass. She is working hard. Looks like they put a new jammer in, which I love. Trigger is the Le Québecoise jammer. I love it when a team is in lead and they say, you go try B.
It is. Sometimes it works in your favor and other times it may not. If you do sit other potential jammers on the game for a long time, they do have a tendency sometimes to not get in jammer mode. And any jammer out there understands what jammer mode is. You kind of have to have a mindset for it because it's an on-off switch as opposed to like thinking about multiple things at the same time.
I like it because this tournament is all about learning. It's all about being a new player. And a lot of times you don't know if you're a jammer yet. And I like when teams are willing to get a little bit of a lead and put new jammers in because you got to try in a gameplay situation before you know whether or not you're a jammer.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, especially here, like players need to do as many things as they can. Early on in this tournament, especially because you have a few gimmies, if for lack of a better term,
where we see wide point spreads
and still make it to the finals.
And it's really hard to assume what's going on in this tournament because you can have a batch of fresh meat who are really strong and gel together. You can have a batch of fresh meat who all came from hockey or figure skating, and you can have a batch of fresh meat who are all brand new.
Mimsane pivot for the Le Québecois with a nice block on the outside of the Ann Lansing Dixens jammer.
Isasaur, the Ann Lansing jammer, having the jam called off before she's able to exit. She nearly cut there, but again, with a new rule set change that was fairly recent, if you do come back in after you get hit out, if you come in front of people, as long as your first intentional movement is to leave. So we're seeing a lot less cutting penalties because of that.
It's kind of like the Canadian cut. Like, you know how it's like, I cut. But I'm sorry. No.
I really mean good. It's like intention and good heart.
That's right. I'll go in the back of the line. Yeah. I didn't mean to cut anyone.
Don't punish me, Dad.
I think we need to call it the Canadian cut from now on.
That's totally going to be a thing. Ann Lansing Derby, Dixens 24 to Le Québecoise 54. We're going to have a bit of a jammer fight. If the Ann Lansing jammer can catch up to Vixen, which may not be possible. Wow.
Valkyrie getting bumped pretty hard, trying to take that inside line. She did pick up her 4 points.
And excellent blocking from Ann Lansing. Nicely done. They've had a couple of shining moments here where they've really worked together as a wall. And
yeah, and this game is still pretty close, 58 to 24. Again, math. So they're different. They're separated by an amount that math makes sense. But
if anyone wants to do the math and tweet at us at Royal City Roller, we'd love it. We don't do math.
I could do the math, but that makes me think too hard. I just like to like freewheel,
I can smell the gears grinding.
Yeah, that's it.
Little bit of a confuse jammer with the whistle went, but they're like, hey, yeah, is that true, yeah?
It is a nice job by Pretty Bullet of Ann Lansing Dixens. This is a very, very important lead jam for them. Hopefully they can put a lot of points on the board. It looks like they're also in a power jam here. If they can put up a decent amount of points in this jam, they can definitely have enough time to get the points that they need to win this game, and they do. That's 5 points so far. That makes it 58 to 29.
So media, we're seeing them line up in a 2x2 passive offense, but they're offering active offense, but this is the hard part. Active offense is really hard. You got to get in front of the blockers. It's working, but they're doing this thing that actually speeds the pack up and pushes the other blockers forward. We're seeing Ann Lansing bench again counting down that power jam for their entire bench.
Oh, nice job by Pretty Bullet taking that inside line. Scores 4 points on that pass. That's 14 so far. If I was Ann Lansing, I would keep it going, but their bench is telling them to call it off.
That was La Planteuse as a jammer for Les Québecoises. I haven't seen her jam yet, and she is one of the Jorts Club. Jean Shorts.
Yeah, I love the jorts.
I
don't wear them as much. I get a hard time about the jorts sometimes.
People like, just wait. So I am, for the folks at home who can't see me, I am a more masculine presenting woman, what we call soft butch or low femme. I will be wearing a dress for the finals. Wait till you see the comments that I get. Two-spear hit, also Fight of the Concords, and I call it gender, I forget.
Now I wish I was announcing with you for the last game, and I wish I also brought a dress, because that would be quite incredible to see you in a dress and see me in a dress, because I don't think many people would mistake me for anywhere near feminine. But if I'm wearing a dress, it's quite possible that they may.
And it's worth mentioning here as we talk about dresses and gender presentation that roller derby is a sport that folks who are women identified, gender nonconforming are welcome to play. Also, it's a sport where we allow you to wear whatever religious equipment you wear. So, for example, hijabi athletes have been contentious. Just recently, FIBA, the Basketball Association, allowed people at high-level play to wear hijabs, and there have been many athletes like Bilquis who were kept out of play at high-level basketball because they were waiting for this decision to be made. I know that the Soccer Federation waited a long time to make the decision to allow hijab. At roller derby, it's always been no big deal. Wear a hijab. If you have a hijab, it fits under your helmet. It's great. I know people who don't even wear the sports hijab. They just wear their regular everyday hijab. So hijab is welcome at roller derby. Please join Fresh Meat. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, it's amazing, amazing. I'm not going to add to any of that because that was perfect.
Perfect. I'm perfect. If you want to read more about hijabi in sport and hijabi ballers in general, check out Shireen Ahmed, my friend, on Twitter. She's absolutely incredible.
It looks like Ann Lansing Dixens are looking for the star stash, possibly. It does work for number 717, number 717 in Fiction Vixen. Huge, huge hit from Valkyrie, trying to take that outside line, but getting disrupted by the Ann Lansing Dixon's defensive wall.
In Vixen getting hit out hugely, bigly on the turn one there, and spinning around, recovers very quickly from that hit. It returns to the back, which is soul destroying for most jammers. She doesn't get soul destroyed. She immediately takes that inside line and swoops in. It's beautiful jamming.
It is, but that is definitely the correct word, bigly.
Bigly.
Bigly is definitely the correct
word. She got hit bigly. This is, again, our league is very small in Guelph. These are big players with big hits.
Yeah.
We hit big and small players.
Man, Le Quebecoise, Valkyrie, just dominating all teams so far this tournament.
Isasaurus reminding me of La Grande Narsoir from Montreal Roller Derby. Very tall and an amazing jammer. She's heading to the box. It's a power jam. En français, c'est super jam. Let's see what Les Québécoises, especially Valkyrie, does with a super jam.
It is. There's only 25 seconds left on the clock for Le Quebecoise and Valkyrie. They have control of this jam because she's lead. Technically speaking, Valkyrie doesn't have to engage in this pack at all for fear of potentially taking a penalty.
Worth explaining how the end of the game works.
It is, yeah.
You follow the jam clock, not the period clock. So you see that 06 on your screen. We will go with a full minute if Valkyrie, the lead jammer, wants to go the full minutes. She doesn't, she calls it off. The unofficial final is 73 Les Québécoises and 38 Ann Lansing Dixens.
Yeah, Valkyrie again. I would like, if I had stats or a stats sheet available to me, I would like to see the numbers on her.
If we had Captain Lou Albamo here to do stats for us, shout out to him.
He would definitely be keeping up on all these stats. But Valkyrie, for my knowledge, has only not gotten lead jammer when she went to the penalty box once in 2 games so far. That's a 40-minute period of getting lead jammer and also not going to the penalty box as a jammer. That's quite incredible.
Absolutely incredible. And reminder, everybody here is less than 12 months old in Derby. Some are only 4 months old, just recently passed their minimum skills testing.
And they were able to name themselves despite being 12 months old.
4 months old. You get to choose your own name. It's a big deal. These are, in our league, we call them baby chicks, and they've got a lot of help from their mama hens. A lot of support. We love Fresh Meat, and you're seeing it pay off in this the Fresh and the Furious tournament 2017.
That's right.
What you can't see on camera is
one of the referees who's just skating by the camera right now did do a little trip up on the on one of the ropes that make this live feed happen to you at home. Again,
Coach,
if you are at home, sorry to interrupt, if you're at home and you are close enough to the beaches in Toronto, try and make yourself available for this tournament live.
Get your backside trackside.
Get your backside trackside.
As Lightning Slim would
I'm not
say.
quite sure what it'll cost right now. They may even, I'm not going to speak for anyone, but it may even be a different price at the door than it is right now because it's halfway through the day.
There's food trucks.
There's
beer.
food trucks. There's beer. There's derby equipment supplied by Rumbling the Rage, Neon Skates, Monster Muffin. All those places are here at the Ted Reeves Arena. If you need something, please come down and purchase something.
The swooping whistle went. The official final is 77 for Les Québecoises and 38 for in Lansing Dixens. That was a great match. The teams are both taking to the track to get their high fives from the crowd. Up next, who knows? Click on the link in the I button in your screen. Click on the video, then click on the I icon. Find out who is next. I will be leaving both. Wrex is up next on the mic, and then I will be doing house announcing. It's Wrex back with Trouble T, who you heard this morning. Back with more Derby in the Ted Reeve bubble in Toronto. Pop on by if you're close. If you're not, keep watching live on YouTube.